We continue now at the top of Daf Pei Gimel Amid Beis in Meseches Bava Metzia. This is Bava Metzia Daf 83b. The Gemara continues a statement from Reish Lakish, Poel bechnisaso mishalo. When it comes to a worker, when he's entering, that's from his own time, but yitziyaso, but when he's leaving, mishal balabayas, that's from the balabayas' time. Rashi explains, bechnisaso la'ir, when he enters the city, mishalo, that's from him, meaning to say, tzarech levater mishalo etzel balabayas ulahachshech etzlo. The point of the Gemara is, when he's working by the balabayas, he has to work until it's night. It means to say he has to take from his own time. He can't say that he wants to leave while it's still light outside so that he gets home before dark. He cannot say that. Rather, bechnisaso mishalo, when he enters into the city, it's from his own time. He has to stay by the balabayas until it's dark, and only then can he go home. However, uviyitziyaso, when he leaves, that means lemalachto baboker. When he leaves for work in the morning, mishal balabayas, that's from the balabayas' time. Eino tzarech lahaktim, he doesn't need to wake up early. Elim hanitzacham, rather just by sunrise, that's when he's allowed to leave his house. So that time essentially is taken from the balabayas. And the Gemara continues, Shenemar, as it says, Tizrach Hashemesh Yeyosefun, Velmo Nosam Yerbotzun. We'll see in Rashi that's referring to the animals that when the sun rises, they're gathered in. And then it says, Yetze Adam Lefalo, that's when the person leaves for his work. Velavodaso Adayar, when he works until night. So you see that he leaves at sunrise and he has to work all the way until night. And Rashi explains, Yeyosefun Hachayos, it's talking about the animals being gathered in at sunrise. Dil Ilmine Ksiv, Tashes Choshech V'Hiloila Bosirmos Kol Chayso Yor, Tizrach Hashemesh. It talks about the fact that at night, that's when the animals are out. And so then when the sun rises, it's Yeyosef, when they're gathered in, V'Samachle, and then what does it say next? It says, Yetze Adam Lefa'alo V'Lavodaso Adayar. It says he leaves for work at sunrise until the evening, Achetechshech, until it gets dark. And the Gemara says, what do we even bring a pasuk over here for to say what the workers, when they have to leave for work, when they go back for work? It doesn't make any sense. Why not just see what is the custom in the city? We shouldn't follow psukim for this kind of thing. We should follow the custom in the city. Rashi says, let's see the custom in the city. The rule is everything follows the custom in the place you're at. What's Reish Lakish even talking about over here, bringing psukim? And the Gemara answers to that, Be'ir Chadasha, we're talking about it's a new city, there is no particular custom, so that's what they should follow. But the Gemara says, V'nichsi mehecha kasu, but why don't we just see where the workers are coming from? That's not a new area. We should follow that custom. And the Gemara says, B'nikutai. B'nikutai means it's a group of workers that come from all different kinds of places, so you can't follow that. Rashi says, B'nikutai, Shenislaktu b'makomos harbe, they're coming from many places. V'yesh makom shemakdim, and v'yesh makom shemechashkin, some places early, some places late. V'lekadul lemismach elad oraisa, so you have to rely on the pasuk, and that's why we're bringing this pasuk from Tehillim. And the Gemara continues, Ibayisem, if you want, I could say another answer. The Amar Lahu, it's talking about a case where he says to them, the Agrisuli Kapol Doraisa will hire according to the rules of the worker of the Torah, will follow that standard, and so that's why they're not following the local minhag, they're following the standard set by the pasuk. And the Gemara continues, Darash Rabbi Zera Darshans V'Amri Lo Tani Rav Yosef. Some say that it's Rav Yosef that teaches Ma'idachsiv. What does it mean when it's written in the pasuk? This is the pasuk we quoted. Tashes Choshech V'Ilayla Bosirmos Kol Chayso Yoar. Again, it's talking about that in the darkness there are the animals that are out. And we darshan as follows. Tashes Choshech means when the darkness comes, V'Ilayla Zeha Olam Hazeh. When it's nighttime, this is a reference to Olam Hazeh, to this world. Shadom L'Layla, it's similar to the night. Bosirmos Kol Chayso Yoar, when it talks about the animals that are around at night, Elu Rishoim, that refers to the wicked. Shabo, this refers to the wicked people of the world. Shadom and L'chaya Shabiyar, they're like the wild animals in the forest. And the idea is that they rule, so to speak, in Olam Hazeh, in this world. Tizrach Hashemesh Yosefun, Ve'elmo Nosam Yerbotzun, then it says, when the sun rises, these animals, the wicked, are gathered in. Ve'elmo Nosam Yerbotzun, we'll darshan in a moment. Tizrach Hashemesh, it means to say that the sun will rise, Latzadikim, for the righteous. Yosefun Rishoim L'Gehenim, that's when the Rishoim, the wicked, will be gathered into Gehenim. And what does it mean, Ve'elmo Nosam Yerbotzun? It means as follows. Ein loch kol tzadik v'tzadik, there's no righteous person, she'ein lo modr lefi kavod, that doesn't have a place to reside according to the level of his honor, according to his kavod, meaning to say in Olam Haba, every tzaddik will have a place. Yetze Adam lefa'alo, it says the person goes out to his work. It means Yetzu tzadikim lekabel sechar, and it means the tzadikim are going to go, they'll receive their reward. V'lavodaso adeyarev, what does it mean when the pasuk says v'lavodaso adeyarev? B'misha hishlam avodaso adeyarev, it means that the person completed avodaso, he completed his work by evening, meaning before he died, he did the righteous deeds that get him into Olam Haba. That's what the pasuk is referring to. And Rashi explains, Elu Rishoyim Shabo, this refers to the wicked, Shemanichin Lohen Yecholas Lahalach Berishim. It means to say that we allow them, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so to speak, allows them to continue in their wickedness in Olam Hazeh. Ve'en Nifroin Mehem, they're not punished in Olam Hazeh, the punishment will be in Olam Haba. And the Gemara continues, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon, Ashkech Lahu Farhunga, the Kotafis Ganvi, found a certain officer who was seizing thieves. He would seize thieves in order to punish them, and this was on behalf of the king. Amar Lei said to him, Hechi Yecholtalahu, how are you able to get these thieves? Lav Kechiyusa Mesili, aren't they compared to wild animals? Techsiv, as it's written, Bosirmos Kol Chai Soyar, like we said before, that's where all of these wild animals roam, and the idea is this is a reference to the Rishoim. And the Gemara continues, Ika Diamri, there are those that say, Mehaikro Kamarle. He said it to him from the following pasuk. He quoted to this officer the following pasuk, Yarov b'mistar ka'arye b'suko. He lies in wait and hiding like a lion in his lair. And he continued and said, Dilma shakalta tzadike. How do you know you're capturing the right people is the point. Maybe you're taking the righteous. V'shavak Rashi, and you're leaving aside the wicked. Amar Lei, so the officer said back to him, Umay Avid, what should I do otherwise? Harmona de Malko, I'm trying my best to fulfill the edict of the king. Amar, so he said, Ta Agmarach, come and I'll teach you how to do it. Hechi Tavid, what you should do. Ol bi'arba shoy lechanus, you should go in the 4th hour into the store. Ki chazes inish dekashasi chamr, if you see a person in there drinking wine, v'konokit kasa biyade v'kamenamnim, he's holding the cup in his hand and he's falling asleep, he's dozing. Sholi love, you should ask about him, inquire about this person. Yitzur b'mei rabbanan, now if the person is a Talmud Chacham, v'nayim and he's dozing, aktume kadem legirse, it means that he just woke up early to learn, he's a good person. Ipawalu, similarly, if he's a worker, kadem ka avid avidite, he woke up early in order to do his work. Via avidita belelia, let's say he's a person that might work at night, redude radid, he can do this kind of work that is silent, you're able to do work at night that doesn't make noise. Rashi says, Redude Rodid means Mose Chute Nechoshes Ubarzel. He pulls threads of copper. Lasos Machten, he makes these small threads of metal. Vumnoso Belayla, this is a work that's done at night. Lefisha Moshcho Bechlium Noso Benakavim Dakim. You use these kind of tools with small thin holes. Zed Dakmi, Zed one thinner than the next. The point is, Vein Kolo Nishma Belayla. It's possible he's working at night, and you don't hear him at night. Va'afilu Lo Nishma Kol Patish Beveis. Even if you don't hear the sound of the hammer in his house, Beoso Laila on that particular night, Ein lach letov, so you shouldn't take such a worker. Al kach dil merudu de radid. Maybe he's doing that kind of work. And the point is, you ask all of these questions, v'ilo, and if none of these things are true, ganvahu, then you know the person is a thief. Etafse, and you should seize him. Rashi says, ganvahu, he's a thief. Ulakachu yashin shener belayla lerov over derachim olach barbadim. That's why he's sleeping now, because he was awake at night. In order to steal, he was either stealing from people on the road, or he was digging into houses at night. And so that's how you know the person is a ganav, and you should seize him. And the Gemara says, Ishtama milsa be malka. So the king heard about this advice that was given. Amru, and they said, Kiryana di Garta, the one who reads the letter, Iu have a frunka, he should be the one that's the messenger, meaning essentially they were saying, you, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, you have the advice, so you're the one that should actually carry it out. Asyul, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, so they brought Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, the Kataf is Ganmi, and that's exactly what he did. He started seizing the thieves. V'yazil, and that's what he proceeded to do. Shalach le Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha, so Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha sent him the following message. Chometz ben yain, you're like vinegar, the son of wine, means to say, Rasha ben Sadik, you're a wicked person, even though you're the son of a righteous person. Ad Masechet moser amoshel elokeinu lahariga. For how long are you going to take people from the Jewish nation, from the nation of God, and you're going to cause them to be killed by the government? You're turning over Jews to the government. Shalach le, so he sent the message back to him, Kotzim ani mechalim in akerem, I'm just getting rid of the thorns from the vineyard. Shalach le, so he sent back to him, Yavo bal akerem, let the owner of the vineyard come, v'yichles kotzav, let him take care of his own thorns. You don't need to take care of that. Rashi says, Yavo bal akerem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should come, he should take care of the thorns in the vineyard. Yom echad paga be'ahu koves, there was one day where a certain launderer met up with Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, Kirya chometz ben yayin, and he referred to him, he insulted him by calling him chometz ben yayin, vinegar, the son of wine. Amar, he said me the chutz of kuli hai. So Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon said, from the fact that this person has such chutzpah, shmami no reshihu, we see from this that he's a wicked person. Amar lu tafsu, he said that you should seize this person, he's a bad person. So tafsu, so that's exactly what they did, they seized this individual. Levazar denach daite, after he calmed down a little, azal basri lefruka, he pursued him, he wanted to redeem him from the prison that he had now sent him to, velo matzi, but he wasn't able to do that. Kari aleh, so then he called about this person, Rashi says, Kari aleh ala koves, he referred to the launderer with the following pasuk: Shomer pivu l'shono shomer mitzaros nafsho. A person watches his mouth, he keeps himself out of trouble. By speaking up, this person really got himself into trouble. In the end, zakfu, it says that they hung this person, they killed him. Come to say zakifa. So then Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Shimon, he went underneath the tree v'kabachi. He was crying about what happened. Amru lei, so they said to him, to calm him, they said, Rebbe, al yera beinecha, Rebbe, it shouldn't be bad in your eyes. Shahu v'no, because this person and his son, ba'alu naramo rasa b'yom HaKippurim, they had relations with a young girl who was betrothed on Yom Kippur. So when he heard that, he put his hand on his over his stomach, over his intestines. Amar, and he said, Sisu b'nei meyai, Sisu, you should rejoice. My intestines, you should rejoice. Umasveikos shalachem kachef. In situations of doubt, it turns out like this, that it was just. Vados shalachem alachas kama v'kama. When something happens with certainty, when there's really investigation, when we know something is amiss, so then certainly it is something that is just. Muftach ani b'chem, and then he said, I am certain about you, talking about b'nei meyav, talking about his intestines, shein rima v'tolah sholetus b'chem, that the worms and the maggots will never affect you. V'afilu hachi, but nevertheless, says the Gemara, lo miyas v'daita, his mind wasn't settled. Ashgayu samad deshinsa, so what they did was he wanted to test this blessing that he gave to his innards, and so they gave him the samad deshinsa, they gave him like a medicine which would put him to sleep. V'aylu levesa deshisha, and they brought him into a house of marble. This was a place, essentially, where they did surgery. The karo lekrisa, they tore out his stomach, and the Gemara continues, have a mifku minei dikule detarba, they took from his stomach baskets and baskets of fat, umosve b'shimsha b'tamuz vav, and they placed it in the sun in the months of Tammuz and Av. Rashi says, b'shimsha l'nasos, they were testing, im yasriach v'yoram toloim, they were testing whether it would putrefy, whether it would be affected by the maggots and the worms. And the Gemara says, v'lo misruchi, the Gemara says that they did not putrefy. The Gemara comments, kol tarbanami lo sreach, but all fat doesn't putrefy. Rashi says, elim ken yesh basar imo, there has to be basar, there has to be flesh together with the fat. But the Gemara explains, kol tarba lo sreach, it's true that fat does not putrefy, but shuraiki sumki, but the red veins, masriach, they generally do putrefy. As Rashi says, shuraiki sumki, gevonim adumim edomim, vehein min basar, that's again the part that's red, the red veins, that's a kind of basar, that's a kind of flesh. Generally, that does putrefy, but over here, even though they had these red veins, it didn't go bad, and so they had tested it, and indeed, it came true. It seemed that he was correct, and so he said, he called about himself, Af besori yishkon levetach, even my flesh will rest securely. And the Gemara continues, V'af Rabbi Yishmael b'Rabbi Yossi mot, even Rabbi Yishmael b'Rabbi Yossi had a similar story, as we'll see. We will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Pei Dalid Amud Aleph.